Hey Bulldogs, remote learning has been an interesting experiment for all of us. Let's hear what some students have to say about it.
So, remote learning, in my opinion, it's a very good idea. Keeps my mind sharp through this whole thing. Gives me something to do.
I prefer what we're doing now because it's basically the same thing rather than going to school for half the day, wasting our time talking about what we're going to be doing anyways. Now we can get straight to the work. If we don't understand it, the teachers give us videos to where we can watch and get to learn more about what we're learning about.
I prefer the traditional way of school instead of this, because in school it's basically you're in a classroom and pretty much the only thing you really have to do there is the work that's given in front of you. Here at home, you're given the work, but I look around me and I see many distractions, so I tend to get distracted pretty easily. It's something I'm trying to work on, but yeah, I just prefer being in a classroom environment where it's supposed to happen naturally.
With school learning, I guess you get to be more hands-on with the teachers, and if you really don't understand something, they can come up to you and explain it to you in a way that you would understand. But for me, I mean, this is kind of easier because I'm more of a head-on type of learner. I can just see what I'm doing and I just get to understand it better. It wasn't really that hard to adjust to the learning at home because we were already doing it, like I said, basically with the Chromebooks. Now we have the video classes where we can go in. If we really don't understand what they gave us, we can talk to them and still get that head-on learning. Or they can give us different videos and ed puzzles that can help us really get to better understand what they give us.
Yeah, just trying to learn from home, like getting up at 8, 9 in the morning and then going to class for going to class for an hour is it's very weird. And being in my room instead of being in a classroom, it's different, but I mean it's still school and you're still learning stuff.
As students have been dealing with this new way of learning, teachers also have to figure out new ways to teach. Here are thoughts from a few of Holbrook Middle High School's fine teaching staff.
I've been trying to engage my students and get them to continue their learning, and some ways I'm doing that. I'm trying to post things here and there on my Instagram, more for entertainment than for learning, but I am posting some learning related things there. I'm also doing class sessions, so I've been doing either Zoom or Google Hangouts for my classes. And so I'll do a 15-minute class session and I'll teach a quick little lesson, and then I'll give the kids something to do after that.
I think the most important thing that I can do to help my students continue to learn while we're apart is actually the most important thing one of the most important things I can do even when we're together, which is to provide specific, individual, and timely feedback on the assignments that I post.
I feel like the best thing I can do to help my students continue to learn is really make sure that I'm there for them as much as I can be and checking in as often as possible and trying to be as consistent as possible.
In order to help my students continue to learn, I'm conducting weekly Google Meets that consist of teaching, instruction, notes, clarifying questions on assignments or questions that they may have regarding the remote learning. I'm also available on Google Hangouts as well as my email, pretty much 24/7. My hope is that even though we're doing the remote learning, my job as their teacher is to help them continue to learn and help them to prepare for their next school year.
That's hard for me. My daughter is 3 years old and she's home every day now too with me, so I'm trying to be a dad and a teacher at the same time. But I know everyone else is dealing with that too, and having consistent check-ins is really, I think, important.
My expectations for students moving forward is that they check in, that during the hours that we are meant to spend with one another during the week, the student is checking Google Classroom, making sure they know what assignments are upcoming, what's expected of them on the individual assignment, and reaching out to me if anything is confusing.
My expectations for my students regarding their schoolwork is really that they are continuing to work and continuing to learn and continuing to be engaged. Being engaged is the most important thing, I feel like. And honestly, most teachers, I think that's their preference, is that students don't worry about the grades as much about understanding that the assignments we give are for a purpose in order to help them improve and grow and learn. And so that's what I really want to be the focus.
The hope is that you're doing your schoolwork between 9 and 12. That's kind of what I'm doing, I'm up and ready and moving and posting work and doing group chats and doing video chats and just trying to get people to be talking to each other and getting some things done. My hope is that kids are doing what they can when they can.
Is Zoom recapturing the classroom feel? I don't think so. It's a nice tool. It's great. I like to see everybody's face and like have an actual sort of human interaction that isn't just me writing feedback and someone else's response and question. Like I get to ask people how they're doing and see their faces. But it's totally different. You know, I don't have the same interaction that like truly human interaction that we all have in a classroom. As far as using it as a tool for lecturing, I'm more apt to probably just record something and then open up a forum for people to ask questions individually and as a class if there's going to be any lectures moving forward.
Nothing can compare to being in the classroom with the students. You miss that personal connection, that time to be able to kind of, when they walk into the class, to be able to just welcome them in, see how things are going, how their day has been so far. We also miss out on that group discussion feel, the ability to kind of have everyone, the entire class involved in a discussion. These meetings are important. I am providing instruction, answering questions, reading with the students. So it's my hope that they do participate. Oftentimes I have gotten emails from students who did not participate in the Google meetings with questions that were actually brought up and answered during the Google meetings.
I do think that you can get some of the same vibes. You know, like I've had a couple of classes where there's already kids like making these silly jokes and I have to tell them that I'm going to kick them out of the video chat. So that's definitely like a classroom feel for sure. But it's definitely not the same, and I really, really miss being in the classroom. It's been hard, but you know, we're all in this together and we're going to get through it.
This has been Niall Horgan from Co Blue News. Back to you.